Hello, I'm Catherine Sines, the president of the Rotary Club of Hudson. Rotary is a professional organization of a group of men and women who support Rotary International. We also join together by a common interest of service to our Hudson community, and we have a sincere desire to give back. We meet weekly on Wednesdays at Laurel Lake Retirement Community, 200 Laurel Lake Drive, in their dining room. We meet from 7:30 to 8:30 and would like to invite you to join us. For more information about Rotary, go to www.rotaryhudson.org. Enjoy the following excerpts from one of our recent meetings and consider joining us on Wednesday morning.
Good morning, Rotarians and guests. Welcome to the Rotary Club of Hudson. I'm Ron Strobel, the Sergeant at Arms. Our invocation this morning is by Jim Young.
Good morning, Rotarians. Let's bow our heads. Dear Lord, we ask that you guide and direct our club, its leaders, and our actions. Grant that each of us may feel our responsibility to Rotary and our community. Bless our fellowship today and bless this food to the nourishment of our bodies in your service. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Jim. And to lead us in the pledge and the four-way test, Doug McDowell.
Will you join me in the pledge, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. On the four-way test, first, is it truth? Second, fair of all concerned. Third, build goodwill and better friendships. Fourth, will be beneficial to all concerned.
Thank you, Doug. And now to lead us in song, Chris Barker.
Today we have lyrics. Yay! Okay, we're going to be singing America the Beautiful.
Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountains' majesty, above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood, from sea to shining sea.
Thank you, Chris. It's nice to be able to count on you at the last minute like that to just jump in.
There's more.
And now our president, Catherine Sines.
Good morning, Rotarians. It's an awesome day, and we have some guests, and Chris Barker's going to introduce them to us.
Good morning, Rotarians and guests. And before I introduce the guests, I just want to let everyone know I'm going to be placing a badge and pin order. So if anyone has maybe lost their Rotary pin, their badge. Hey, I have my pin. I lost 2 badges, and I paid for all of them. I don't know how it happens, but I'll be placing an order this week. So, if you do need a new badge, please let me know. The cost will be anywhere between $14, $16. And if you lost your pin, I think it's like $1.25. Okay, well, we do have some guests with us today, and if they could please stand up when I announce their names. We have Dick Nabolo, guest of Doug McDowell, joining us again today. Thank you.
I got Dick to fill the form out, so.
You're almost official. Excellent. Wonderful. And then, oh, we'll see. We'll see about that. And then we have Sue Carter joining us again. And Catherine, is she your guest? And guest of Catherine Sines. And then Gail, if you would please come up with your guest, Tony Watson. This is her first time joining us, and Gail's going to make a brief introduction so we can learn a little bit more about Tony.
balance one another out. God, I can never live that down. Good morning, Rotarians. It is my pleasure to introduce Toni Watson, and I need to give you a little background. I just met her this morning. And, coincidentally, she is here because of, where's Jay? Jay, because of your article in the Hub announcing our speakers for the coming month. Huh? Really, that's the truth. So she had worked her way through websites and phone calls and finally landed with me last night. So here she is to tell us a little bit about herself. Toni Watson. We're on TV. So
on TV, very good. Thank you. All right, well, yes, my name is Toni Watson. I want to thank everyone for the very warm welcome I got until Gail had arrived, right? But it looks like such a very interesting group, both from the community service standpoint, but also from stretching out with the speakers and things of that nature. So I look forward to the camaraderie and learning much more about the group. Thank you.
See, all that hard work paid off, Jay. The announcements don't have very many. After so many last week, we only have one. And Bob, I always mess up the last name, sorry. But he needs a couple more volunteers for Art on the Green. I just got you one. Sue Carter's going to take my husband's spot. He couldn't be there, so we got one. You still need two more, right? Yeah, he needs two more volunteers, so it's a fun time, harassing people, getting them to buy brats and pop. So if you want to spend a little bit of time, what is it, 2 hours or 3 hours? 2.5 hours of your time, and it's fun time. So we need two more volunteers. And our program, Jim Ahern's going to introduce our speaker for today.
Good morning.
Good morning, Jim.
I thought since David Ash was sitting in Dick's spot, you were going to sing. No?
You don't want to hear that.
Okay, all right. To that point, this month is about energy, and it's specifically about Ohio and northeastern Ohio energy. We're going to have folks that are going to talk about wind power, solar power, nuclear, and also policy at the end of the month. And our speaker today, Tony Ramos, is, I have to thank him for being so flexible, because we were moving around different speakers in different dates and some wouldn't commit, but Tony said, hey, look, I'll fill in when you have that opening. So that's why he's here today, which is great. Tony has joined NOPEC, Northern Ohio Public Energy Council. And he joined in March of 2016 as the first community outreach manager for the company. So he gets to set the standard for the job that he's currently in. He left the city of Worcester, Ohio, where he served as administrative assistant to the mayor, director of administration, law director, and the clerk of council. Prior to joining the city of Worcester, Tony worked in student housing as a leasing and marketing manager. He holds a bachelor's degree of political science, American politics, and a master's degree in applied politics. Both of them from the Ray C. Bliss Institute of Applied Politics at the University of Akron. So to let us know all about NOPEC and its influence on northeastern Ohio, Tony, it's all yours.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. My name's Tony Ramos, and I'm the Community Outreach Manager for the Northeast Ohio Public Energy Council, also known as NOPEC. And this morning, I'm going to give you a high-level overview of who we are and what we do. Each of you at your seats has a bag that goes into greater detail of who we are and what we do. Last year's copy of our annual report is in there. There's some there's an FAQ pocket guide and some information about some of the programs that we offer to our communities. So first, I'd like to start with showing you one of our videos, and then I'll get into my presentation. It's just about a minute long, so.
New technology, so. queued up here. It is. Okay, and
Open the curtains, on with the show. There's something amazing we'd like you to know about NOPEC. The folks who save you lots of dough. We're towns and we're cities, together as one. We're big buying power, we'll save you a ton on gas and electric every day. Every wash load, every fillet, because we're NOPEC. The folks who save you lots of dough. We're helping member families lower their bills, teaching you to use your efficiency skills. We're here to serve members like you after all. Are you still not sure? Then give us a call, call NOPEC. The folks who save you lots of dough. But wait, NOPEC has even more ways to save you money on your gas and electric bills. Let me show you. We're tips and we're tricks. We're discounts galore. Take an online tour and learn even more. We built a tip house to help you conserve, so you can keep every penny you deserve. Because we're NOPEC, the folks who can save you some cold hard dollars. We're NOPEC, and we're gonna save you lots of dough.
Thank you. So that is, that's Mr. NOPEC. And if you followed the Indians last fall as they marched towards the World Series, you may have seen the 30-second version of that particular commercial.
4, 5, 6. Ah, I landed on your residential housing tower.
That's another video we have.
You owe me $510 plus $82.50.
So, who is NOPEC? We're the nation's only nonprofit governmental retail aggregator of gas and electric service. We're also Ohio's largest. So we're the nation's only, we're Ohio's largest. We're the only game in town who does retail energy supply the way we do it. We started out in 2000 with 5 original communities, and in 17 years we've grown to 219 Northeast Ohio communities across 13 counties. So we go as far west as the city of Tiffin and all the way back east to the Ohio-Pennsylvania line, and as far south as the bottom of Summit County. So we operate as an opt-out aggregation. So what that means is, I'll use Hudson as an example. Let's say the city of Hudson decides it wants to aggregate and join NOPEC. A ballot issue goes up for a vote. The city votes it up. Once it passes, then every eligible account in the city of Hudson automatically becomes a customer of NOPEC. We send you a card in the mail letting you know, hey, you're a customer of NOPEC now, but if you don't want to be, you want to find your own energy supplier, you have to opt out and send in a card saying, I don't want to participate. So that's what an opt-out aggregation means. If you've ever had someone come to your door and knock on your door and say, hey, I can save you $50 on your electric or your gas, those kinds of companies are what's called an opt-in. You choose to join them. So in 17 years, NOPEC has saved Northeast Ohio residents and businesses over $250 million in cumulative savings across gas and electricity. So who's in charge of NOPEC? One of the benefits of NOPEC as opposed to a private company is that the communities we serve are in charge of NOPEC. So every community that is a member of NOPEC has a representative, and usually it's the mayor or someone they designate to serve in our General Assembly. That body meets every November, and they are tasked with approving our budget. We have to report to them what we did in the previous year and what we intend to do in the next year. That General Assembly then picks a board of directors who serve without compensation, and they are the people essentially I and everybody else at NOPEC report directly to. So each of the 13 counties has an elected representative that serves on our board of directors. Here in Summit County, it is Jan Tully. She's a city councilwoman of the city of Macedonia. So what makes us different? Because we're a public aggregation of local governments, our only goal is to provide reliable, stable, low-cost energy to the communities that we serve. NOPEC has no other mission other than that. We focus on a long-term approach to the energy market. So sometimes you get a phone call or you get a card in the mail saying, save now, save up to 22% or something like that. You'll never get information like that from us. We're looking long-term. NOPEC never ever claims to be the cheapest retail supplier in Ohio, but consistently we are in the bottom third, if not usually the lowest in terms of electric and gas supply costs. As we've grown from 5 communities to 219 communities, we've really in the last 2 years made an effort within our communities to stress energy efficiency and conservation. Years ago, NOPEC gave over $18 million in Powering Our Community grants, and these were funds that went directly back to our communities to allow them to use for energy efficiency. So in a lot of communities, community centers got new HVAC systems, new lighting, new windows, things like that. Later this year, we'll be announcing a new round of energizing our community grants, in which we're going to be giving another $18 million back to our communities for energy efficiency, but we've also changed it a little bit because the needs of our communities have changed. Some communities need new ambulances, new fire trucks, or they need new road work kind of equipment. Those grant dollars are going to be eligible to be used for those types of things as well. So we're a nonprofit, and sometimes when someone says that, you go, that's good. Other times you hear the word nonprofit and you go, sure, you're a nonprofit, but you've got, $50 million in the bank. So how are you a nonprofit? Well, we do not, NOPEC does not take any money from the customers we serve or the communities we serve. Our supply partner, Next Era Energy Ohio, which is a division of Florida Light and Power, they pay us a fee for access to the consumers we represent. Because NOPEC is a membership organization, communities choose to join us. We essentially act as their energy agent. Some people, you have an insurance agent, you have a stockbroker. We're kind of the same thing. So Next Era pays us a fee for access to our almost 1 million Northeast Ohio customers, and that's how we operate. There's a copy of our annual report in your bag, and it shows you what our cash flow looks like. We only have 12 employees. We're pretty small. Of those 12, I think 4 of us have been added within the last 2 years. So for the longest time, believe it or not, NOPEC was just a 2-person show. It was an executive director and an executive assistant. And as more communities have joined, we've gotten larger. Our office is just based in Solon, so we're not very far away. So Next Era is our current energy partner. It used to be First Energy Solutions. If you have any knowledge of NOPEC or read the newspaper last fall, you may have read about our not so nice separation from First Energy Solutions. But we've got a great new supply partner, and 50% of the energy that comes into Northeast Ohio through NOPEC comes from renewable energy sources. And that's one of the changes about our new supply partner that really got us excited. So what's the value of NOPEC to you? Well, we use bulk purchasing power and we pass those savings on to you. So as you know, the more people you have, the stronger you are as a buying block, which allows us to purchase gas and electricity at a lower cost than if you go out and just negotiate on your own. There's over 250 retail energy suppliers that operate in the state of Ohio. So it can be a challenge, or if you've got that kind of time, I guess you can spend all your time looking for a better deal. But consistently, NOPEC is usually your best bet. Another benefit to being a NOPEC is that our customers have a direct say in what goes on. So let's say you live in the city of Twinsburg and you're having an issue. Well, you can go to City Hall, talk to the mayor. The mayor can call me directly in Solon and say, Tony, I have this resident, they're having this issue. We're here. Whereas if you have an issue with someone else, maybe that company's based in Texas or based in Alabama, and you'll go through options 1 through 7 on a telephone before you get to a real person. You have direct access to us if you have any issue. So I threw in some common questions because a lot of times people ask, because Hudson's not a NOPEC community, I wanted to include these. So if it ever moved in that direction and decided to join NOPEC or something like that, there's no cancellation fee to leave NOPEC. It doesn't cost you anything to join NOPEC. A lot of questions we always get is well, my neighbor works for Dominion East Ohio Gas, or they work for First Energy. If our community joins NOPEC, is that going to affect their job? It does not affect them. We work very, very well with the utilities, and most of the utility employees live in NOPEC communities and are customers of NOPEC. Usually nothing changes in terms of billing. So if First Energy, if the illuminating company is your electric company and that's who you get your bill from, none of that will change. You'll still write your check to them. You don't send a separate check anywhere else. It all just goes directly, it stays the same. We offer variable and fixed pricing, and one of the benefits of our new supply contract is you can switch back and forth between those two programs anytime you want. So if one price is lower than the other, you call us and you say, hey, switch me, we'll switch you over. That doesn't cost you anything to do. A lot of other companies require you to sign a 2-year contract and you're locked in for if you've picked fixed or variable pricing. Another good question is I live in Norwalk, my sister lives in Geneva, do we pay the same? Yes. No matter where you live in the NOPEC territory, whatever that electric price is, that is what everybody else is paying. We don't make distinctions about different communities or status or anything like that. The price is what the price is across the board. So membership benefits. Oh. There we go. So one of the things that we created to help our customers is, it's called My NOPEC. And this is a free service, online-based tool in which you can check out our tip house. It gives you tips and tricks on how to make your home more energy efficient and lower your energy bills on your end. It also allows a really great benefit. You can link your gas and electric account to the My NOPEC tool, and you can really track your usage of gas and electricity in real time. You can also snoop on neighbors and see and compare your usage to others. You can also zoom out and compare your usage to other people that you're community-wide to really kind of see, am I an energy hog or am I pretty good with my energy? On that tool, you accrue points when you use it, and then you can redeem those points for free things that we have in our online store. So if you're a golfer, you can redeem points for golf balls, tees, and towels, things like that. Last November, the most popular item on the store was crock pots, as you can imagine, with Thanksgiving. So this is a great tool, and that's free to our customers. Oh, I'm pointing it at the flag. That might be why it's not jumping. Another cool program that I oversee that we offer to our communities is our Do Not Knock program. One of the biggest complaints we receive in our office is from communities complaining about door-to-door solicitors. So this year we rolled out a new program called the Do Not Knock program, in which we help our community set up a Do Not Knock registry. NOPEC provides a sticker to put on your door to let solicitors know not to knock at your home. The city has provided a registry, so when solicitors register, if they're doing what they're supposed to do, they'll get a list of all the homes not to knock on. So it started this year. The village of Roaming Shores and Ashtabula, the city of Tiffin, the city of Warren have all adopted the program, and the city of Parma is currently in the process of adopting the program. Some communities have similar programs. Our program offers the ability to take over their program for them, and this is another free benefit to our communities. And so this kind of shows a snapshot of our Powering Our Community grants, and so in the case of Elyria, since they joined, they've saved over $8 million in savings, and they received a $428,000 grant. Those grants are usually based on the number of accounts that the community has, and then we assign a numerical number to each account, and that's how we arrive at those grant numbers. And it shows a couple other communities and what they've received. In the last 2 years, we've really stepped out in terms of what our involvement in our communities are. A lot of Northeast Ohioans didn't even know they were NOPEC customers. So on one hand, that can be good. On the other hand, that's bad because nobody has any idea that we exist. The elected officials do, but the average customer didn't know that they were a NOPEC customer. So that's one of the reasons why my position was created, for me to spend time out in our communities explaining who we are and what we do. So this year, we were really excited. NOPEC had never sponsored anything ever before except for local events within our communities when someone called and asked us, hey, can you help us with fireworks or something like that. So this year, we sponsored the Rockin' on the River concert series in Lorraine. If you recall, you may know that's the concert series that used to be in Cuyahoga Falls and moved. So we've been the title sponsor for that this summer. And then on the east side of our footprint, we have been the sponsor of Family Fun Sundays for the Lake County Captains. I spend a lot of time doing community presentations and attending community events. We have a energy bike, which is a cool thing. It's an actual bike that you can ride that generates electricity, and it demonstrates the amount of energy required by different types of light bulbs and different types of appliances. And so the energy bike tours Northeast Ohio to community events, libraries, any place where we can engage with Northeast Ohio residents. We also have a Clerk of Council recognition program. Each year we try and pick a different person within the cities that we work with to recognize them. So last year it was executive assistants of mayors, and this year it's the clerks of city councils. And we take a gift, a certificate, and just try and recognize those folks that make our jobs easier and say a thank you to them. How to reach us, that information's here. You probably don't need it because Hudson's not a NOPEC community, but you can always, even if you're not a NOPEC customer and you have a question, we actually have a really great customer service call center staff that will answer those questions. It's not just, I'm sorry, you're not a NOPEC customer, and they hang up. So if you have a question, you can call us, or you can call our office in Hudson, and you can ask for me if you want. And that's it. That's your high-level overview of NOPEC. There's a lot more information inside your bags, but I don't like to talk at you too long. I like to answer questions. So does anyone have any questions that I can answer for you?
We give them a microphone so it's all recorded on.
Okay, perfect.
I've been reading recently that electric cars are going to be virtually dictated for many countries in Europe. Do you see that coming to the United States and Ohio in particular?
Personally, I do not know. I know one of the options we're going to be offering our communities is electric car charging stations. So providing they can use that grant money to install those. They are becoming more and more popular. In terms of the answering the policy aspect of that question, unfortunately, I don't know. That's higher than I am, so I couldn't say. Yes, sir.
I'm having a little trouble getting my head around the business model. You're tied in with which energy company?
NextEra Energy Ohio is our supply partner.
Okay. And are they your primary source of cash?
Yeah, that's who we get our money from,
Okay.
yes.
Now, how do they view NOPEC? Is that the reason they're spending this cash? Is it part of their marketing program?
So that's a common question. So think about, we serve about 1 million Northeast Ohio customers, okay? So we're a group, we're a membership organization. NextEra could come into Northeast Ohio like other retail energy suppliers and knock on doors and sign up customers one by one. That takes a lot of staffing, that takes a lot of time, that requires them to open offices here. That costs them money. They'll have to run advertising. They'll have to do all of those things. Because NOPEC is here and we say, here are these customers, but before you can have access to these customers, we want the best terms and conditions in the industry, and we want the lowest price possible on this. And they say, they come together with a package, and we either take it or we say, you can do better than that. We really negotiate hard to make sure our consumers get the best deal that they can. So that's one of the reasons why they contract with us as opposed to setting up field operations to capture those people. There are only a few energy suppliers in the nation who can service our load of demand, and they are one of them. First Energy Solutions, our previous supply partner, they were able to do that too. Most retail energy suppliers can't supply the volume that we need, but they can. So that's one of the reasons why it's easier to go through us as opposed to spend all that extra money. So it's actually cheaper for them. Yeah.
Tony,
yes.
How will the development of Marcellus and Utica shale gas in Ohio affect a program like this?
So just about all of the natural gas that we supply to Northeast Ohio comes from Ohio. And so we're already utilizing those resources available to us. So in terms of my knowledge, that's the extent of which I can answer that question. I don't want to give you bad information, but the natural gas that we use comes from Northeast Ohio.
What are your biggest obstacles, like, say, getting into a town as far as from a sales perspective? It's kind of two questions. And then what really could you save an end user consumer as a percentage in their electric bill?
Say that again? What was the second part again?
What would the percentage be that you could actually set and save the end consumer at the end of it, on their electric bill?
Okay, so for the first question, NOPEC doesn't really actively sell itself. So most we've benefited from word of mouth. There are only a few large Northeast Ohio communities that aren't members of NOPEC, and that's because they have existing aggregations with First Energy Solutions. Some of those contracts are coming up to their expiration dates in 18, 19, and 20. We will send them information letting them know NOPEC is available to them when that contract expires if they choose not to renew with First Energy. But we don't actively sell. Most community leaders in those communities that don't currently have us know we exist, know what we do, and in some cases, some of them have already started that process of joining us with only a year left on their existing contracts. So it's kind of good. We don't really have to go out and sell. In recent months, we've had a lot of interest from a lot of communities in southern Ohio wanting to join us. There are communities outside of Columbus and Cincinnati who have called us and said, how can we join NOPEC? So this November, we'll be changing some bylaws to allow any community in the state of Ohio to be able to join NOPEC. With respect to your second question, on our website, there is a tool where so if you're not a customer, you answer a couple questions about your bill, and it'll kick out to you, if you were to join us today, what your rate would be and what that savings would be. And I always tell people to do that. You do that on an individual basis because it takes into account how you use energy in your home. And most people don't know this. The price to compare on your bill is not the same for everyone. So your percentage will be different than somebody else's because your PTC is based on your usage in your own home. So it's hard for me to give out a number, but the number we do use is that on average, NOPEC customers pay 6% less for electricity than non-NOPEC customers, and so that's kind of the measure number. So 6% less is a good number. Yes, sir.
Just looking at your financial statement, being the bean counter that I am, legal fees, electric, gas aggregation, is that because they're so high at $1,089,000 over 770 last year? Is that because you're constantly negotiating?
No, that without getting too deep into the weeds, First Energy sued us several times. And so a lot of those legal fees are defending those challenges. We also spend a lot of time at the Public Utilities Commission making sure that certain rules that are negative for Northeast Ohio consumers don't get passed. So we spend a big part of NOPEC is our advocacy in Columbus. We work really closely with the legislator and legislators to make sure that rules and legislation that's passed benefit Northeast Ohio. So this past year is a good example, and you'll see that number be bigger next year because we've had 3 victories this year so far in Columbus in preventing those retail energy credits that First Energy wanted to levy against everyone's bills to keep their 2 nuclear power plants open. And there have been a couple issues that they've tried to push through that would be detrimental to consumers, not just in Northeast Ohio, but across Ohio, in terms of adding extra fees and things like that. So we fight those battles, and a lot of that costs money in terms of lawyers to fight those battles for us. Yes, sir.
Hi, Tony. So you mentioned that communities join NOPEC, and as the consumer, I can opt out of the program. Is there any way that I can opt in, similar to the other retailer?
Yeah. So let's say Hudson became a NOPEC community this month. You weren't paying attention. You filled out that card, and you opted out, and your wife says, "Why'd you opt out? You need to get back." All you have to do is just call us, and you can come back, and it doesn't cost you anything. But living in a non-NOPEC community, you could not call us today and say, "I'd like to join NOPEC," because your community has to be a member of NOPEC. Yes, sir.
We all live in Hudson here, a lot of us do in Hudson, and we're not a member of this, if I understand. Is that right?
Correct.
So we really can't access this thing until only if Hudson decides to participate in this, right?
Right.
So when you list us on the page here, you say you can only you can contact us through Columbia Gas or Dominion East Ohio. I get my gas from Dominion East Ohio. I can't go to them and access you directly, can I?
No, you are not eligible to be a NOPEC customer because your community is not a member of NOPEC.
Okay.
If you want to join NOPEC, you would want to touch base with your city council and your mayor to say, how come we don't have NOPEC?
Oh. So you're saying that we should all kind of gang up on our city council member?
If you all did that and Hudson joined NOPEC, then I'd be the coolest person there for a few minutes. So that would help. That'd be cool.
Are you aware when their contract's up?
I do not know if you guys currently have an aggregation with somebody else. I do not know. A lot of times that information isn't always as public as we would like it to be. Most of the time, if you just call City Hall and ask and say, "Hey, do we have an aggregation and who is it with?" They'll tell you. But a lot of communities don't have aggregations. So,
If you open it up to other communities in Ohio, are you going to change the name?
that has been a big question, and earlier this year we conducted some focus groups, and we have come to the conclusion that no, we would not change the name. It's taken a long time. We've had the name for so long, and there's been a lot of branding and expense to put that name out in the last couple of years. We wouldn't change the name, but we might. I think we're developing like regional taglines and things like that we're a member of NOPEC, but we're in Southern Ohio. So I don't know. We'll see. We're kind of in a rebranding strategy right now.
A question about gas logistics. This may be a dumb question. I never thought of it before, but you have a number of suppliers.
We have one supplier next
No,
year.
I meant you can get your gas from a number of suppliers.
Right, yeah.
We all have feeding off the same gas lines. How does it work? I mean, it's all the same gas, right? So how does it work? Where does all the gas comes from the same supplier?
You're asking, that's more of a question for our executive director. That I don't know. I mean, I just assumed it came out of the ground, somebody put it in a tank, and we just went and bought it.
You have an answer, Doug?
There's a pipeline company.
Yeah.
And gas is gas.
Yeah.
People put it in and they take it out. It's got nothing to do with
We're going to give you a microphone.
It's got nothing to, the only reason that makes one person's natural gas different than another one is a contract, right? Everybody injects, the suppliers inject, and the users take. And those pipelines are like a trucking company. It's an interstate commerce entity, okay? And it's not only natural gas, it's ammonia. There's ammonia that flows all around the country in pipeline systems. There's all kinds of liquids, okay? It's a transportation under the Interstate Commerce Commission.
Thank you.
Tony, you mentioned that NOPEC is the largest in Ohio, the only in the nation. Why do you feel that there aren't any other organizations doing the same thing that you're doing? And do you think that in the future you'll see more nonprofit organizations similar to yours?
I think every state's different. NOPEC is unique because at the end of, in 1999 and 2000, when the state decided to deregulate utilities, it was brand new here. And so 5 Northeast Ohio mayors got together and created NOPEC, which were essentially a council of governments to make sure that their residents got the best deal that they could once deregulation came. And then we just kind of grew. I couldn't tell you why. I mean, there are still a lot of regulated states out there, and there are other deregulated states. There are lots of co-ops. There are a lot of electric and gas co-ops throughout the country. I think we're just unique in that we had some forward-thinking people who really, right as soon as it happened, created us and really started to push this idea of membership and bulk buying power. I guess you could see it elsewhere. I don't know. There are other kind of similar versions of us, but I just think we're unique. We're unique because we're in Ohio, and the way we were deregulated and how the rules are set up here.
I'd like to see this concept transferred to. Sorry, I thought I was talking loud enough. I'd like to see this concept transferred to the cable internet industry.
Oh, don't get me started on that.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah, that a lot of times when I'm out in the community, the biggest complaints people bring up is cable. But then a lot of times people think we're from the Northeast Ohio Sewer District, and then they start yelling at me, and I go, no, we're different. But yes, my life would be significantly easier if I could buy my cable channels a la carte, if I could just pick what I wanted and not pay for everything. But we can talk about that another time. Any other questions? I appreciate the time. Thank you very much. There's some gifts in your bag too, and along with the materials. Thank you. I hope you all enjoy the rest of your day, and good luck.
That was awesome. Jim was asking me, and maybe, someone here can answer it. He was wondering if he thought Hudson's Garbage was the same type of pickup, was the same kind of a consortium kind of thing or a grouping. We weren't sure. So Jim's curious if anyone knows. Thank you to everybody for coming today. I want to thank greeters Liz Ramsey and Ed Sogan, also known as Coach. I want to thank the audio visual group, Dan Rich, Tom Page, Tom Tobin, James Field, and Ron Barnhouse. Hi, Ron. Thank you. Rotobuck drawing. It's $11, and the jackpot's $299 today. And Tony, would you please draw? Oh, they all will be mad at you. That's okay. One person will like you.
Today's winning number is 6740019. And you have to split it with me.
$11?
I'll take it. No.
Mimi! I don't have to lift it very high.
Oh.
No.
Black marble.
We did this.
Thank you.
Also, I just kind of real quick wanted to mention for the visitors that are here, People who don't know it, the reason we have you speak into a microphone is because this meeting is recorded for HCTV and it's played, so that way the people who are watching it can hear the questions and hear the answers. So that's the reason we do that. Remember to be grateful, truly grateful for those good friends and thoughtful people, and try to make someone smile this week. Thank you for coming.